Commence primary ignition.
Hello there, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're watching the Virtual Cantina Network. Ooh. Is there a blue milk around? Can I get something? I mean, I'm in a cantina after all. Goodbye there.
We're creating a space that we wish existed when we were kids, where being obsessed with the fictional universes we love isn't weird, it's just Wednesday.
Very good, man. Okay, but real talk, how do we make this happen, man? Because this needs to exist. I mean, needs.
We're opening it up for everyone. We're looking for our founding fleet, the people who get it, not just the investors, although we need those guys too. But the true believers, the ones who understand why we would need a secret menu that only unlocks if you know the Konami code.
Oh, there's a Konami code menu?
There's going to be a lot of Easter eggs and special unlocks. The fleet will find out all about it first.
Look, I've been in enough pitch meetings over my career to know when something's special versus when it's just stuff, man. This isn't just stuff. This is that thing that you've been looking for when you scroll through Instagram at 2 a.m. You're looking for that community, that place where your weird is the normal, and that's what we're offering.
We're not building a bar. We're building a headquarters for people who've been waiting their whole lives for a chance to join something like the Justice League.
And it's in Burbank, man. You can literally walk there from the giant Batman statue or the AMC Theater, the #1 in America. Imagine walking through that door, finding your squadron, and knowing that you helped build all this. Imagine being part of the secret origin story.
The founding fleet, the ones who were there before it was everywhere.
I'm in. I was already in, but I'm more in now after this. I'm so in that I'm through to the other side.
The Rendezvous, coming to Burbank. This is your invitation and your call to join us.
Be one of the founders, man. Be part of the story. Because in 10 years, when there's one of these in every city, on every corner, and some kid asks, how did this all get started? You'll be able to say, I was there. I'm in the founding fleet.
WeFunder.com/Scum and Come find your squadron.
As a great man once said, Excelsior, true believers. As a fictional great man once said, make it so. As another fictional great man once said, may the force be with you. And then as a bunch of the space pirates, what did they say on Firefly?
Shiny.
Shiny. Let's all make something shiny, kids.
I aim to misbehave.
And you know what? Don't take our word for it. Any campaign worth its salt needs celebrity endorsement. And I know some celebrities who might just be willing to endorse this. Take it away, boys.
Join the fleet, motherfuckers! Scum and Villainy Rendezvous! Give all your money so Burbank could be Nerdbank!
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to all our true believers and everything in between to a very special news desk here on the Virtual Cantina Network. As you can see, we are here live on all the VCN channels. You can see we're live on the Facebook, on the YouTube, the Instagram, the Twitch, and I don't know if it's PC to say we're on X. That might sound very wrong in today's society, but who knows? But here I am. I'm Spencer. I am the CSO of the Virtual Cantina Network, and I'm very, very excited to have join with me from Scum and Villainy Cantina in Los Angeles, California. We got JC. How are you, sir? Ooh, your mic's off. I don't hear you.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Showing my age. What is CSO?
Oh, Chief Shenanigans Officer.
Ah, I love it. Okay.
Yeah, Jeff coined me that name just because I'm always talking about shenanigans. So
I love it. I love it. Also, I love your intro. James Arnold Taylor is an old friend of mine. We used to do all sorts of shenanigans together. So it was cool to see him chatting.
No, he's good people, and the VCN is very, very happy to be part of this this project. Yes, Jeff wrote the CSO of the Virtual Cantina Network. But we're very excited, and we want this also to be very, very interactive. So if you have any questions that you have for JC or for me or anything in particular, I know we're having a little bit of Instagram issues right now, but we'll try to fix that while we're going. So Jeff, you're watching right now. If you try to sneak in the back end and help us with Instagram, that'd be awesome. But if you have any questions, you want your comments to be up on the screen, log in to StreamYard.com/Facebook, connect your Facebook account to StreamYard. Sometimes you have to redo it. And that way you won't be, you'll be listed, if you want your question answered and anything of that nature. But we're very, very excited about everything that we're talking about. So we have actually a couple of questions that I think pretty funny right now that I want to put up. One from Liberty is saying that she enjoys your input on the Pot of Rebellion. Can't wait to get involved with the rendezvous. Matt Ryan 50 says, JC, can you please state for the record unequivocally that this establishment does not serve droids?
I will take that one step further. We don't serve synthetic life forms of any kind. So if you're a replicant or any sort of synthetic life form, Cylon, you're out of luck.
Oh, okay. I know one of the questions. Yes. Someone had actually mentioned, you had mentioned in a previous show, which, by the way, great showings on both Black Man Beyond as well as Thank the Maker. But Jeff actually wants to know, will there be a fully functional holodeck at the new location?
From a certain point of view, yes. So Rendezvous is a spaceship, a headcanon spaceship. And the concept art that you guys have been posting for us, which thank you so much, is the goal is to have it projection mapped as a holodeck. So the goal would be that all the walls and everything in this room that you're looking at right now are projection mapped and can be transformed into other things with projection mapping, including every hour on the hour, holodeck scan lines, matrix code, X-Men danger room, overlay, and then it snaps back into the permanent simulation that we're running of our favorite cantina on our home planet of Hollywood.
Excelente. Well, we're very excited about all of this. We're very excited, obviously, for everything that is coming up here for Scum Villainy Rendezvous. So if you have any questions or anything of that nature, please make sure you put it into the chat. But we got a whole bunch of stuff going on here that we're very excited about talking about. And we want to do this a little bit differently from our point of view of the other two shows you did. We want to make this very interactive. We're going to answer a lot of questions about, the location, the current location, everything of that nature. So the first one is why? Why all of a sudden, with the success of the past 8 years in Hollywood, that you were ready for the expansion?
Okay, well, so talking to you and I and Jeff talked, I feel like, for months about your VCN family vacation. And it was such an insane, awesome, busy day. But I'm sure everybody saw who attended, it was tight. It was packed. There wasn't a lot of room to move around. The Scum Villainy Cantina in Hollywood is tiny. It is a restaurant that was built on a restaurant that was built on a retail store that was built on a restaurant. It's like got more layers to that building than Coruscant does. And because of that, because 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago now, it opened as a pop-up restaurant, there's a lot of stuff that's just impossible to do and accomplish. And we've kind of, with where we want to go with Scum and Villainy, we've just outgrown that space in a lot of ways, and we're looking to expand all over the place because it's, nerds everywhere need a place to go, and we needed a new headquarters, and that headquarters, we thought the perfect spot was Burbank. It is the center of the geek universe. There's a million other small geeky businesses there. There's all the major movie studios, Netflix, Warner Brothers, Netflix / Warner Brothers, because they own each other now. And so it's also underneath the busiest AMC movie theater in the country.
It's such a great location. And, just the fact that, you could be going, like, let's just say hypothetically, God willing that, you guys are open next May, hopefully, that you can go from going to see Mandalorian and Grogu downstairs basically, and go, have a blue milk and talk about the movies and talk about, heck, we just got the first teaser for Doomsday. Like, they can potentially go from the AMC downstairs and talk Doomsday. I mean, this is like we talked about the Nerd Haven. You talked about this on the video with Kevin earlier, but we talked about this online. Back when we were kids, what we're talking about now was not cool. You didn't talk about that in public. Like, you talked about your friends and everything of that nature. But now it's like, it's a renaissance of the geek, I call it. It's like everything of our childhood is cool. And that's kind of why, like, in some capacities, like, I feel that I get along with a lot of the millennials, because everything that was our childhood, they're loving right now. I'm like, oh yeah, well, let me tell you stories about the 80s and everything.
Yeah, it's also, growing up, even today, almost any restaurant you want to go to on Sunday has multiple TVs showing football. On Monday has multiple TVs showing football. On Thursday has multiple TVs showing football. On Friday and Saturday has multiple TVs showing college football. And, in the 80s and 90s, and even the early 2000s, that was what dominated headlines and pop culture, was sports. And sports bars have been around forever. And I just thought pop culture is as dominant as sports are now. And it's time that pop culture fans had a place to go and find their people, find the people that cosplay the same way they do. You walk into a Patriots bar in Los Angeles on Sunday, you're going to find somebody wearing a red, white, and blue number 12 jersey. You just are. And that's who you're going to go sit next to. You're going to watch the same thing, versus, like, what do you do when you walk into a spot, like, there are no nerdy spots. If you're a nerd, you're not into the Patriots. Who do you sit by? Who do you talk to at the bar? How do you decide? And that's what Scum and Villainy is. And that's what we're hoping to, like, take to the next level at Rendezvous.
It's absolutely great. I mean, it's funny, like you talked about, the sports ball and all that, and we could talk about, Quidditch or sabacc or anything of that nature to the next
Nuna
level.
ball.
Yeah, absolutely. So different things. Running Man. I mean, that
pod racing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all the things that we love, and games and sporting-esque type of ideas and concepts that we can absolutely enjoy over at the Scum and Villainy, not only just at Rendezvous, but also at the mothership of Scum Classic, as I like to call it. For those who remember Coke Classic, you'll get the reference. Not so good, but it's okay. The new Coke wasn't good. Coke Classic was great. But we're we're very, very excited about that. And I know that we talked about earlier, in the summer of 24, we ran our Boonty Eve special edition event at Scum and Villainy in Hollywood, which was a great event. And thank you to not only all of our family members who showed up, but also the great talent that took over Scum and Villainy. We had a great lineup, not only just like in the Shire area, in the way back in the alleyway, if you will, but also in one of the alcoves. We had a number of actors as well. Why, for our members or watching right now, why was it important? Because, like you said, we're before, we're in the friends and family early stages of the WeFounder crowdfunding that's going on currently right now. Why was it important for Scum Villainy and yourself in particular to ask the VCN to get involved at such an early state in the project?
Because people at VCN are like me, which I know it sounds silly, but it is people who wear their passion on their sleeve, who have built this incredible community of people. And we're trying to build a community spot, a community hub, a spot where, we're on virtual Cantina network. We're trying to build the actual in-person Cantina network so that, if you're in different parts of the country, you can meet up face to face. And look, technology is wonderful. And the fact that we are able to connect face to face on a live stream and share it with thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people at a whim is, it got most of us through the pandemic, but there is something really special about seeing people in person and experiencing that in person. And that's something that you guys do with your Bunta Eve events and your family vacations and your meetups at cons all over the country, Rebel Scum Con. That's what I'm trying to do. So you guys are doing exactly what we're doing in miniature in Hollywood. And I think, to me, rising tide raises all ships. And you can compete with other people, or you can say like, hey, we're not competing with each other. We're all fans. We're all part of the same community. We're all part of the same family. And whatever we do gets us all into a better position. Or you can look at other people as competition, which I just don't see. Our competition is not other geeky people. It's the mega corporations, right? We all have to stick together. And so that's why, I watch the virtual Cantina posts. We were involved with that summer of 2024. And it was awesome. And all the people I met when you guys did your event at Scum Villainy Cantina, from the Outer Rim Sabak League guys to which I always get made fun of. Somebody in the event goes, or in the chat, True North Media goes, go Bears. You saw I get made fun of on Pod of Rebellion because I call it Sabak, and that's the Chicago in me coming out, the Midwest in me. The Outer Rim Sabak League, people had droids in there. I know we don't serve their kind, but we do let them sneak in every once in a while. So it's just
like you're gonna stop Chopper. Like Chopper would plow his way through.
I guess the mission statement of what we're trying to do is completely in line. And you and I have talked offline for hours about how we see being a fan and building a community. And it's we're the same voice from different bodies.
What I love about what you're doing, and it's the same mission of what the VCN tries to do, especially with all of its partners, is celebration is not enough for the Star Wars fandom. And I'm going to use the Star Wars fandom as a reference point, but it could be said for any other fandom out there. But let's just talk about Star Wars in particular, because the VCN is a Star Wars group. You're lucky if every other year or every 2 years there's a Star Wars celebration. And going to Star Wars celebration is unlike any other con you're going to go to anywhere else in the world, because you're dealing with one, property first and foremost, and two, it doesn't matter where your entry point is, because there's entry points at every stake of it, but you all love this property that started as a little indie film back in 1977 and it's turned into a monster that we all come together. And I can talk about Japan. I didn't feel like I was going to celebration in Japan. I felt like I was going to a convention and ran into 100,000 of my friends, literally. And that's what's great about the fandom of Star Wars, is that we just love Star Wars and anything having to do with it. I mean, that's why we will spend, buy every tchotchke imaginable, just with the word Star Wars on it because we're a fan, mutual friend of ours, Amanda is in the chat right now. How are you, Amanda? But no, very, very excited about that. And like we said, the fandom is stronger together. When there's something that benefits everybody and not just one entity, but everybody involved in it, it's a no-brainer. And when I want to give a quick shout out to, one of my producers who's in the back, who's a good friend of yours, Jeff, is when Jeff reached out to me, he was like, hey, JC wants to talk about Scum. Are you cool? And I'm like, absolutely. Like, to me, it's a no-brainer. And you and I started talking about it. I'm like, we're feeding the same mouths, man. It's like, we're looking at the same people to do everything that we're doing. And it's exciting, especially when we're on the march right now to the 50th anniversary of Star Wars, which is insane. And obviously, being in Los Angeles for the 50th, it's going to be huge for the city, all the way. And, both your locations are going to be popping with people around the world. And we're just glad, we can be part of that first and foremost, push for there. But let's talk a little bit about the crowdfunding going on right now. Here are the website links if you are interested in that. And plus also, if you are watching on YouTube currently, in the description, there's actually a link that goes directly to WeFunder right now. And we'll talk about the perks in a second, but let's talk about how this is working and how this is going to get to the next level.
So, it's you're investing, it is, we are doing some really, really cool things that aren't even talked about in the perks to do community building with. Some of the stuff that we have planned, and we're still finalizing all the details. So like subject to change, disclaimer. But what we really want to do is everybody who invests right now, as you invest, you're going to get your TK number for the 501st people is going to be the number person that you've invested in. So if you're the first person through the door, you're going to be number 1. If you're the 1,000th person through the door, you're going to be number 1,000. And not that spot in line provides access or exclusivity or anything like that. But it is kind of cool to be able to say, if we have these, I see a lot of people talking about East Coast. If we have these on the East Coast and you go to your local one, again, in Massachusetts, and you have your challenge coin or your badge, that it's going to be like, I'm number 12. You know what I mean? I'm number 18. I'm number 100 when there's thousands of us that have come together. Something else.
Did you walk 66 yet? I'm just asking.
Somebody will have 66 so far at this point. The other thing about it that's really cool is I want to do, again, it's hard to make friends now. And we're lucky because we have these groups and these interests, but it's hard to make friends. So one of the things that I'm trying to do is, and we all love immersion, and we all love some level of cosplay kind of thing, right? Even if it's just, I talked about on Pot of Rebellion. When I went to the Pot of Rebellion or the Star Wars Rebels press conference when it launched 11 years ago, I got a Holonet News ID badge and pin, and I still have it, and I love it because it's as if I was a reporter in the Star Wars universe. So we're all looking for some level of that. So the plan is to have like a hologram android that you can go in and talk to, and it will tell you updates on what's going on with Rendezvous, with cantinas, but it also gives you the opportunity to go on missions. So the mission may be that it gives you, I'm getting ahead of myself, and I keep doing this.
Of course.
When you sign up, we are going to give you a personality aptitude test. with questions such as your fighter's hyperdrive went down. It's a 28-day trip on your sublight engines to get to the next habitable planet. During that long journey, what movie are you going to watch on your data pad over and over and over if it could only be one movie? And then we'll give you a big long list of answers, Empire Strikes Back, The Last Jedi, Princess Bride, Fellowship of the Ring. And you're going to get sorted into squadrons based on your likes and dislikes and things like that. Then the squadrons will be little groups within the fleet. So again, Spencer, you come out to Los Angeles and you don't happen to know anybody. Nobody is able to meet up, but you've been sorted into, again, we're going to be way more creative than this, but you get sorted into Gold Squadron. You can walk in, scan your ID badge. Our hologram is going to say, hey, welcome, Spencer. We see it's your first time here. Would you like some icebreaker questions? There's a bunch of other members of Gold Squadron here. You can find them because they have the yellow light up puck on their table. Here's some icebreakers to introduce yourself and provide tools for you to go and sit with members of your squadron or introduce yourself, because maybe you've interacted on the Discord 1,000 times, but you've never seen their actual face. So building out things like that you can gain experience points, climb ranks. It's a little LARPy. It's a little bit like an ongoing version of some of the stuff they were doing on Galactic Star Cruiser, which, you mentioned collecting merchandise and stuff. At this point, my house is full. Right. What do you get the geek that has everything? This would be a great Christmas gift for somebody to do for them. And, I have no more shelf space, but I'm 3D printing a diorama of the Galactic Star Cruiser. And I had custom action figures made of me and my two friends in our cosplay as we went together, because I want to be there again with those people and have that feeling. And, hopefully Rendezvous is a spot where it lasts a very long time and it persists. And everybody can go and say, hey, I was a part of it, making this happen. And it's still here and I'm here. A lot of people who are investing are from, and putting in reservations are from all over the country, because they're just excited to help make a geek spot like this exist.
I want to put up Liberty's comment again when you talk about your Halcyon experience on Fake to Maker. I know Liberty and a number of our members go to Halcyon every year since they've been doing that. So I know that they're very, very excited about the immersiveness that you're planning to have at the bar.
I'll take a side quest away from talking about Rendezvous for a second. Halcyon changed my life. 100% changed my life. And I went there hoping that it would be a little bit of a time machine so that I could feel the way I felt when I was a little kid playing with my Star Wars toys. Like, I was hoping that just even for a fraction of a second, I would feel that same innocent joy. And I didn't get that, but I think I got something that was so much more valuable, which was when I came back from being on the Galactic Star Cruiser, my daughter was 2.5, almost three. And what I found was that my ability to play with her and make believe was enhanced like 80%. And it wasn't a time machine for my emotions. At no point on that Star Cruiser was I like, oh, I'm really in space. But what it did do is it put me in a room with a bunch of very like-minded people who were all there for the same thing. And we all got to make believe together in a safe space. And what I took home from that was I became a better father for my kids because of that. And I know that sounds dramatic. And I know if you haven't been on it, I sound like a psychopath, but it really did, because There's a philosopher that said, put on a mask. I talked about this on Powder Rebellion. If you want to see the truth, put a mask on an actor. And because we were all cosplaying, we all had to be more honest than we typically would be. You know, I have a theory that as you grow, especially when you hit adolescence, you pack this body armor on yourself so you don't get teased, so that you might fit in, so that you don't say something stupid and get excluded from the group and things like that. And Galactic Star Cruiser is the thing in my life that made me the most comfortable ripping that off and allowing myself to be who I was inside. I mean, every photo I took of myself on that trip are the favorite photos of myself I've ever taken. And one of my friends was like, yeah, because you were able to just be yourself and it comes through in your face. It was wonderful. And I'm hoping to bring a lot of that experience and feeling to Rendezvous. And obviously we're not locking you in to a warehouse with no windows for 2 days. And there's not a, entry fee to get in through the front door, but that feeling of connection, right? When people who wear their Halcyon pins come into Scum Villainy Cantina and I see them, before I'll walk up to them because I want to share. And before I even get to the table, they'll say, oh, when did you go? Because they know I'm not wearing a pin, but they know there's the force is connecting us, right? And then we have a 3-hour conversation because we're best friends, because we went through this wonderful experience. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to do with the fleet and the squadrons, and is providing that connection point with other people.
It's very nice that you mentioned, the logo and the pins and everything of nature, because, Liberty, who just posted this comment, actually got the logo tattooed on her from the Halcyon. And then obviously, good friend of both of ours, Justin, his arm has the logo right there. And he, he talks great about it. I mean, I'm coming up on my 50th next year, and that was my plan for my 50th. And now I'm like scrambling because, whatever, but everybody I talked to has been on it, has said that it was life-changing. And, if we can even get an inkling or a little bit of that, at the Rendezvous, that's just going to make the next level. I'm just so excited about this opportunity for everybody, because this is literally for everybody. And let's talk about some of the, the perks. And we won't go through like all of them like individually, but I'll flash them on the screen. But if you want to, look at them, more in depth, please go to foundingfleet.com or scumandvillainy.cantina.com.
Scumandvillainy.com, sorry.
Okay, scumandvillainy.com. Okay. Just, for information about that. And we'll also talk about that. Even investing at the lowest level is going to get you something very special in 2027 with the Virtual Cantina Network, which we're very, very excited about. But we'll just, like I said, I'll flash it a little bit. So right here, starting off, we have the trader, smuggler, moving.
So so again, it is also a perk ladder, meaning to go in at the trader level. The green badge is exclusive Discord server access, weekly read by the owners for suggestions and community engagement. We really want this place not to be the brainchild of me, but the brainchild of all of us. And then as we hit milestones, in terms of where the fundraise gets, it unlocks more perks for everybody who invested at those different tiers, if that makes sense. Meaning, you come in as a trader, and if we raise $1 million, you get access to the green, the purple, the red, and the orange. So if we don't do $1 million, you get access to, the green and the purple, or just the green, based on how much we are able to raise. And if people are like, why is it so expensive? We have taken over a space that is, and I've shown like Jeff video of it and stuff offline. It's a giant concrete box. There is nothing in it. We are building and designing everything to be exactly the way we want it. We are not beholden to a previous tenant's architectural and plumbing whims. We are putting everything in because we want it to be the version of Scum and Villainy that I had always hoped to build.
Right. So here's a question that will go with that. So let's just say someone comes in and they are a trader, and while the founding fleet is in full operation, can they upgrade to a higher tier?
You're asking after we've already been open?
No, meaning that as long as the founding fleet is still accepting, can you, like, for example, jump from tier 1 to tier 4, or like just like that? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, it's something that we can have a discussion about on the kind of on the back end. Is you come in as a trader and then you win the Powerball next month, and you want to come in and do something second. I would do something like basically add to your investment. I think just reach out to us. We're gonna have some emails posted for communication as we kind of come out of the friends and family reservation aspect of this and go into the full campaign.
Sure.
Where you will be able to send emails and get actual answers to those questions. The truth of the matter is, I am somewhat limited by what I can say right now because of we are in the midst of filing the paperwork with the SEC.
Sure.
And so there are restrictions on the words I can use to stay compliant with where we are at. Which is, which is funny because I will read this now to keep the people at the government happy. We are testing the waters to gauge investor interest in an offering under regulation crowdfunding. No money or other consideration is being solicited. If sent, it will not be accepted. No offer to buy securities will be accepted. No part of the purchase price will be received until a Form C is filed, and only through WeFunder's platform. Any indication of interest involves no obligation or commitment of any kind, which simply means you're putting in a reservation for what hopefully in the future you will be able to convert to an investment.
Excellent.
AKA your card is not charged.
Gotcha. So in middle of that, before I put us back on the screen, I just, flashed over to the tiers 3 and 4. And you can see there's some really great perks in there, including, behind the scenes access to Pot of Rebellion and, video messages from Todd Stashwick and our good friend Vanessa Marshall. And, further down the line, there's Kevin is involved in that, which is awesome. And I know you had mentioned as well I believe in Thank the Maker, a VCN Hall of Famer who's a very good friend of ours, Fawn Davis, helping out with a couple of things with you guys and potentially doing one of the seminars or training sessions on the back end, which is great because Fawn's just awesome.
Yeah, we don't have that. So that's kind of not on the perks. That's something in which we're hoping to do seminars. Like I want to try to create as much as I consume, and I want to try to democratize creativity. So I'm lucky enough to have a friend like Fawn Davis, who is an ILM model shop guy, and I want to have him come in and teach how to build a miniature or how to do the things he's best at. I've had people reach out to me who are seamstresses, who do cosplay, and they want to come in and teach sewing classes, which to me, like, I have no sewing skills. Like, I would be first in line to sign up to learn how to use a sewing machine and put together a tunic or something like that. And so I want to reach out again to the people in the community, provide them an opportunity to showcase their skills and provide other people in the community a chance to bring their skills to the table. Jeff says, bring back Evil Ted. 100% yes. 100% yes.
He talks so much about the seminars that you get done with Evil Ted, building out, the kits and all that.
I love the Pot of Rebellion perk because, one of the best times that I have had of all time is when X-Men 97 came out. And we had the voice actors Lenore Zan and AJ Locasio and all the voice actors and the showrunners and the producers for that show come and watch the show with the fans. And because, if you are creating a cartoon in TV, what opportunity do you have? Like, you watch it on TV at home, maybe with 6 friends. Where can you go on the night it airs and see it with a group of 200 people who are living and dying on every word that you wrote or you animated or you promoted through marketing? Like, where can you do that? And we did that a couple years ago at Scum and Villainy, and it was so awesome because that X-Men community had nowhere to go. It was laying dormant since 2002 when X2 came out. And when that show came out, everybody wanted a place to get together, and they got together at Scum and Villainy, and it was the creators and the fans and the cosplayers, and everybody just got to share that moment together in a very special way. And that Pot of Rebellion perk is a little bit like that, where you get to, if you listen to the show or you watched Rebels, even if you don't listen to the podcast, you get to go and kind of see a behind the scenes look at the way the show is put together if you're into podcasting, but also like you're hanging out with me and John and Vanessa and Taylor and Tia kind of in a, an unscripted setting. There's not, there's a computer screen between us, but there's not a table. It's getting to hang out with the creators who you grew up loving or who you found Star Wars through, which helped you find more family. Again, like the event you did with us where Amy Allen's just walking around. Right. Ayla Secura, how cool.
It's very, I love the fact that what you guys are doing with that is very similar to like what we do. Is we've been doing what we call watch alongs, where we'll have a character show up, like, let's just talk right now, because it's also her birthday. Emily Swallow, the armorer, come on and watch an episode with us and talk behind the scenes. Or Brendan Wayne, or last week we had Omid Tahi come in to do his episode from season 3, where he basically, what I call, got spinal tapped when he got turned to 11 and fried. But it's getting that one extra step. But we talk about, like, when we were kids, the Holy Trinity was unattainable. Like, getting to meet Mark, Harrison, and Carrie, unless you were lucky, you were meeting them. But now, because of, everything that's accessible, especially because of social media and podcasting, we can talk to anybody involved in Star Wars and kind of feel like we're that one step away from actually being in the saga, which is absolutely, amazing that in that capacity. And the fact that you're able to do that for all the communities, X-Men, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, especially with the new Potter show coming out on HBO Max, you could definitely do something right there. Or, the Big Bang Universe, they have another show coming out next year. And we all know Brian Posehn loves to hang out with geeks like us. There's stuff all around, which makes it so much easier and nicer that we can actually feel like this is our community, man. Like we can be part of anything and everything.
And we're right in Burbank where all the studios are, and there's thousands of free parking spots right there. So it's, I mean, look, I don't think 2025 has been an easy year for most everybody financially. And when you go to Hollywood, like a lot of times you go to Scum Villainy, you have to pay to park in a lot. And in Burbank, there's so much free parking that, like, again, Amanda in chat said, like, it's nice that we're able to give people a taste of what people love so much about Star Cruiser at a almost like a zero cost entry point, right? You can go in and hang out there. It doesn't cost money to get through the front door. And I totally just lost my train of thought. Oh, and the $20 parking is hard for some people to do and then go in and buy a drink or buy something to eat. And so that's exciting to me. That's exciting to like lower the barrier for entry for people.
No, I mean, I remember trying to get parking for our event in 24, and luckily I got one literally across the street, but there was a lot of people who are not so lucky and had to go to the lots or anything of that nature. So this is just like, this is another perk, man. This is something that's absolutely incredible. And one of the things that, we're very excited about, and even, we mentioned this, even at the lowest level, which is an investment of $100 into the founding fleet, you will get free entry and open bar for one person at our event during Star Wars Celebration Week in 2027 at the Rendezvous. Now, as you know, most people know, we always have a big event during Star Wars Celebration, and we have another event that we do as well. So one of those two events will happen at the Rendezvous the week before Star Wars Celebration. And what's great about it is that, let's just say you get whatever number in the membership card or a challenge coin that JC has talked about in the past, is that's going to be your entry ticket into the event that we're going to have at Rendezvous, which would be awesome. Now we're going to have ticket prices and everything later on, but you can bypass all that right now by investing in Scum and Villainy Rendezvous, which is available at scumandvillainy.com and foundingfleet.com right now. So like I said, the lowest level will get you into our event Celebration Week at Scum and Villainy Rendezvous Cantina in Burbank. So one of the things we want to do is we want to open up to questions from the crowd. And I also pulled a number of questions from the investment site that have not been answered yet. But we'll start with some of them from the crowd that I pinned, and then some of them go from there. But here's from True North Media.com. Can we invest at any time, or is there a cutoff to end the founding fleet?
So there will be, you'll always be able to join the fleet. You'll always be able to join the fleet. Founding fleet is kind of the first people who are going in. It's the investment opportunity. So if times are tough right now and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have $100 to do anything with until next year, totally fine. We're inclusive. We want the fleet to grow. You will be able to join the fleet. Founding fleet has perks, and those are the first people to join. And yes, there will be a time limit to the fundraise, but we're still working out exactly how long that's going to go for, and some of it depends on when the paperwork comes through. And we're in holiday season. Nobody's working right now, especially in Los Angeles or at the federal government level. So it will run. We will be in friends and family probably through the end of the 2025, and you can go, if you go to the website, there's a countdown clock that says how long we're going to be in our friends and family stage, and then the actual fundraise will roll for a period of time. So before it ends, you will know where it is, but we're still finalizing details exactly on when we're going to end this round.
Chris Forsyth out of Philadelphia. How you doing, Chris? Says, will Scum Challenge coin also be honored at the rendezvous?
I honestly, like, we have so much going on. I haven't gotten to that point yet, and I have not quite figured out how we're going to make that happen yet. I know there was another question on our WeFunder page about will the Burbank perks be honored at the Hollywood location? And again, we're still finalizing things. What I can say is it's probably unlikely, as the facilities at Burbank are going to be so far beyond what we can do in Hollywood that it would be impossible to honor a lot of the things we're doing in Burbank at Hollywood just due to the physical space.
Very cool. Jeff asks, how long will the folks know that they're one of the first, and how many tiers to get the special perks?
First, however,
like, for example, you have certain things that are like 25, the first 200 to get invited to the opening, event, blah, blah, blah.
All of that will start to happen once we move out of testing the waters and into the actual fundraise part of it.
Ian Harvey, who's actually over in England right now, and him and both his wife Allison did invest, want to know, what is the disability access like at the new venue?
So California has the most rigorous disabilities act in the United States. So it's 13 days, 11 hours, and 38 minutes, says Jeff. Perfect. 1138. 131138. So it's a brand new facility. It's on the ground floor. We will have an elevator inside to get from the first floor to the second floor. So you will have access by our desire and by California law to everything that everybody else does.
Great. And then Matt Cordero, who is also part of the founding fleet, he was wondering if Hollywood won't become the forgotten child.
It will not. What having two locations that close together allows us to do is it allows us to do even more, honestly. Things like, a few years ago in 2019, during the last season of Game of Thrones, we reskinned Scum Villainy Hollywood as the Fire and Ice Tavern. I have some really cool stuff that I want to do with X-Men this upcoming summer. And it kind of allows us to have more fun with Hollywood and just be more loose with it, and do more with it, because when people travel to visit Scum and Villainy Cantina in Hollywood, they have the idea of what they want to see in their head. And if we're decked out for Deadpool or X-Men or something like that, I want to give people what they've traveled for. And having Rendezvous and Cantina in the same spot, it allows us to do things with Cantina that we wouldn't normally otherwise do.
Excellent. So I'm going to pull a bunch of questions from the WeFounder page that have not been answered yet. But if you have any other questions you want to ask, please put them in the chat and we will bring them up. So the first question is that Juniper Raven, how long are the perks, like, for example, the 24 hours notice for reserved tables good for like the karaoke or the trivia? I know you're still flushing that out, but
so yeah, we're still flushing that out. What I can say is when the friends and family testing the waters is up, all of that information will be in the disclosures on before you finalize your reservation. So you'll have an opportunity to see all of that before any money is collected.
Excellent. Charles Bond says, if my wife and I want to invest at level as a couple, how would they do so?
You should invest. There's no way to. It's almost like, think of it like a theme park pass. You need to have individual. Essentially, just each of you should buy a reservation at whatever level you're looking to invest at.
I've been recommending to VCN members that are parts of families that I know that will probably come to our event at Scum Villainy Rendezvous, that to ensure that both of them and their spouse can come in, that they both at least get, or at least one of them gets at the first level, so
Yes.
they can get in.
I would do that. And if you're looking at things like some of the perks that have bring somebody with you, but you both want some of the other perks, I would go in at the level that you want to be at, and then for your partner, come in at, you know, the lower tier, so that you both have membership in the fleet. And just beyond that, you know, there are there's a million things that can happen in a relationship or with all sorts of different things that if we are tied to that union, it can cause problems for everybody across the board.
Sure. Next question we have is actually from one of our guys, David O'Neill. When will Rendezvous potentially open?
We're looking at hopefully, now again, this is we're hoping for summer, fall of 2026. It's largely dependent on, you know, the city of Burbank approving plans and things like that. I can tell you it'll take probably about 5 or 6 months of construction once the city has approved all of the plans.
And our friend from Skywalking Through Neverland, Richard, hey, would love to. You had alluded about podcasting area upstairs in the Rendezvous. Could you elaborate what in your mind that's going to look like?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. Now, so what's cool about this is it's not a podcasting space like a small room with microphones and things like that. If you guys have watched the Fat Man Beyond show that we do from Scum and Villainy in Hollywood, we have built out Rendezvous to accommodate, you know, we sell about 60 tickets is a full house for Fat Man Beyond. Rendezvous will be able to support a much larger capacity and will be laid out in a way where all of the seats are easy to see the stage. If you've been to the Cantina for a Kevin Smith show, you'll know that like it's like buying a ticket for Fenway Park or Wrigley Field. There are seats with obstructed views. And so in the main room, it will all be wired with cameras for live streaming for podcasters who are looking to sell tickets and bring in a big audience to watch their show live. As you travel upstairs, the room is significantly smaller. It's probably about half the size. And again, finalizing design, but say 800-ish square feet. That will be more of the down-tempo, quiet area. We're going to have tables where you can play board games up there. But we're also going to have an 18-foot wide by 6-foot tall LED screen across one of the walls. And we will have cameras set up there for, podcasters like Richard during the day to come in during the daytime and essentially reserve that space. You can drop the Skywalking Through Neverland logo behind you on the LED wall. bring some SSD hard drives, plug them into our recorders, and record a multi-camera podcast that you can either live stream or record to tape and then edit later. And then we're going to have a private dining area as well that will again be set up for live streaming and podcasting. So it's not necessarily a dedicated podcasting booth or room like you would get at a lot of these co-working spaces. It is a spot where if you wanted to record Skywalking Through Neverland at 1:00 the first Tuesday of the month, that you'd be able to do that and bring in 15, 20 members of your audience to have a live audience and watch you either live stream it or record it to tape.
That's pretty awesome.
Did I explain that well? Did that make sense?
It made sense to me.
On a Friday night at 8 p.m., that will not be a podcasting space. That will be a dining room. You know what I mean? But the other thing that LED wall allows us to do is a lot of people were talking about podcasting. Well, we have the new Star Wars racing game coming out. We have the N64 Pod Racer game. Imagine that's 18 foot by 6 foot. We'll be able to hook up a PC to that, and you'll be able to sit up there and pod race on a giant screen head to head. Like
that sounds like the movie The Wizard. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Yes, with Fred Savage.
Savage, Mario.
So that screen will act in an immersion way where it'll be like looking out through a viewport to space, but it also provides an opportunity for us to do really cool things as a virtual backdrop for podcasters, as a giant screen to play video games and do things like that on. And my background is film and television, so everything will be set up to live stream and live edit and all of those sort of things.
Awesome. So don't forget, everybody, that you can go to scumandvillainy.com or foundingfleet.com right now and lock in your reservation to become part of the Founding Fleet. And as we said, investing in Scum and Villainy Rendezvous Cantina, even at the lowest level, will get you free entry and open bar for one person at our event at the Rendezvous in 2027 as part of Star Wars Celebration 50th Anniversary Week, which we're very excited about that. But before we head out, I want to plug a couple of quick things going on right now. It's tonight on the Watch Along. It is literally the 10th anniversary of Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Join us at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, right here on the Virtual Cantina Network. And we are going to be watching that movie with a live audience and, talkback session. We're very excited about, this availability. And, happy 10th anniversary to The Force Awakens. JC, do you remember when you first went to see The Force Awakens?
I do. I'm trying to remember. What's funny is I saw it at the AMC 16 Burbank Dolby Cinema. That'll be like right above where the new Scum and Villainy is going to be. So yeah, I do remember. I went with a big group of people, big like Star Wars fan group. Like I think like Will Wheaton was there, and a lot of those kind of like geeky celebrities were there. And what happened was, tickets went on sale. Pre-sale tickets went on sale at like 1 p.m. on whatever it was, December 1st. But I went to the box office and they pre-sold me the tickets at the box office early for my big group of like 30 people.
That's amazing.
So I'll never forget that. That was really fun.
It was great considering the fact that, for us who lived through the dark times, the first time we got to see some live action Star Wars again, which was awesome. One last question from the crowd. Will the food be the same menu or will it be elevated?
Again, still getting finalized. My hope we're building out a brand new kitchen. And my hope is to do a lot more with the food.
Excellent.
Both in terms of like what's being offered, how it's plated, kind of the level of fun and presentation that we can do. with that. Also, I did want to say, going back to like the upstairs and the LED wall, being at the top of the show, I mentioned James Arnold Taylor and I used to have a studio together 10 years ago, and it was awesome, but it's expensive. And there's so many wonderful content creators out there that that could benefit from having a safe space to connect with their audience and generate their content. And I think that's a fun little space that we can fit into, where if you've got 50,000, 100,000, 250,000 Instagram followers and you're doing content or interviews or things like that, you'll have a place where you can go and do it live and in person, and your followers will be able to come and be there, and you don't have to invite people into your house, which is not something that content creators can do. And you don't have to go out and spend $6,000, $7,000 a month on a production studio. You will have a space where you can kind of like check both those boxes.
That's great. Besides everything that's going on with Rendezvous, is there anything you would like to plug happening over at Hollywood?
What is happening at Hollywood right now? I mean, look, every Wednesday we do the best geek trivia in the world. It is written either by me or my friend Chris, and it is, every bar you go to, they just do trivia. Even Geeks Who Drink is just Geeks trivia. You still get questions about Shakespeare and Mesopotamia and things like that. Whereas at Scum and Villainy, all the questions are written by us for people like us. So our questions, one of my favorite is like 3 actors in a year. So I'd say like John Malkovich, John Cusack, Steve Buscemi, 1997. Name the movie.
Oh, I'm completely blanking. But
Con Air.
Yeah.
So those are the type of questions that we ask there. They're all pop culture, movie, nerd, geek related for the people who consume that stuff, the same way that people can quote Barry Bonds' stat line. Karaoke again on every Thursday at 8 p.m. and every other Monday. We have like vocal monitors there. We have interactive lighting. Bernie, who runs our karaoke, who I know you guys all know, works really hard to make sure it sounds and is mixed really well in the room. And he started bringing in a vocal processor so you can affect your voice in the way that the song you're trying to sing has vocal processing on it. It's next level in every single way.
Jeff actually wanted to know when Fat Man was going to be returning.
Well, I mean, as we all know, Kevin just lost his mom a couple weeks ago. So we are giving him as much space as he needs to handle that. My hope is, and what Kevin and Mark and I have talked about, is once Rendezvous opens, is doing the show a lot more regularly from Rendezvous, because it's an easier thing to do there, because it's built for it. And Mark and I think, are going to do a Black Man Beyond at some point early next week. Live stream, not in person.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody who's been watching with us for the last hour, answering questions and, having an audience from around the world. I saw we had some from Sweden, from London, and one from Poland as well. So very much thank you. We greatly appreciate that. If someone wanted to reach out to you on social media, how would they do so?
You can find me I am not on social media. I try to stay off it as much as possible. If you want to reach me personally, at JC Reifenberg on Instagram, at Reifenberg on X, Twitter, whatever. I probably check those maybe once a week. You can DM me on Facebook if we're Facebook friends. Or if you have, more general questions, Scum and Villainy Cantina on Instagram, SV Cantina on X, even though we don't really do anything with that. And then you can DM us through those as well.
Excellent.
Ooh, we also have a Scum and Villainy Discord that you can join.
Fantastic. Well, got a couple of thank you from Liberty. Thank you for time for chatting with us. And of course,
thanks for hanging out with
our
us.
good friend Amanda. It's a labor of love for both of us. So I can tell you that it's an honor, but it's also an honor. We consider everybody that comes to VCN or Scum Villainy friends and family. So it's an honor, Amanda, to have you part of both families, which is really, really nice. But JC, thank you so much for carving out the time to chat with the VCN faithful today. We do greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do it again, I hope.
Yep, we will. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Hope you join us tonight as we watch the 10th anniversary of Force Awakens, RIP Han Solo. Damn you, Adam Driver. But very much excited for the next year. If we don't hear from you before the end of the year, please have a very safe and happy holiday season. We are working currently right now on the end of the year review for the VCN, which there's a lot to go over. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, from JC and Spencer, we like to say, may the Force be with you.
What do you get the nerd that has everything? An investment in Scum and Villainy Rendezvous. Burbank. Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. That's right.
Live long and prosper.
That's not Star Wars. So say we all.